one thing that we do know is Matt Strahm. This was exciting. I feel like I like Matt Strahm.
I like Matt Strahm.
I like him. He's solid. He's steady. He seems like a great guy. Knows his role, fits in well. Got that versatility. We've seen him in multiple roles.
Yeah,
as a pitching arm. He can start or be reliever. Exactly.
Can probably spot close if you need to.
So
and he's very versatile.
Extension for $7.5 million in 2025. The 2026 club option is for I don't like to say this number, $4.5 million, because that number today.
Otani trigger.
Yeah, $4.5 million.
Legally, like no, not 4.5. No,
somewhere he just jumped in wherever he's hiding. $4.5 million, and then he does have a vesting option at $7.5 million with 60 innings in 25. So I like that he was another deal. What I always enjoy these are the little things that go a long way, and I know it was talked about when Zach Wheeler's extension happened. This is how you show your guys you care, you value them, their worth. Because here we are before opening day, Matt Strahm's extension is also done. And now he can go into the season. And like he was talking about, you saw him getting interviewed and he's all happy and smiling. Now he doesn't have to worry about that. He knows where his future is. He knows where he's going to be. He knows what the team, how the team believes in him and how they want to bring him back and keep him. And at 32 years old, you don't want to be caught in that gray area of like, what are we? Where do we stand? What's our future? You want to know where you're locked in at. So I love the fact that the extension happened before opening day. Matt Strahm now can go into the season feeling good. Last year, solid season for him because we just saw him moved around. But if he can now be consistently in a role versus having to flex back and forth between being a starter and a reliever, and now you have knowing that you're going to get an extension, you've got the extension. I'm happy for Matt Strahm.
Yeah, I think this is part of this front office and new business model. Not that they've never given extensions before. We all remember Scott Kingery. I'm not going to bring that up. But recently, Dombrowski and Fold and your boy Preston have shown, they don't want these guys to get to open markets. If they know what they got and it's, something they want and believe in. Strahm, Wheeler, Alvarado, Sir Anthony, all have signed some form of, whether it's a club option, player option, some kind of extension has been used on all those guys. So it's a really good thing, and I think that helps breed the culture when you know that, as you said, like the team is looking out for you. Yeah. It's like, all right, injuries can happen, but you don't have to worry about going to free agency next year. We got you, and here's a fair market value deal. We'd love to have you here. And that goes a long way, that builds the culture. So hat tip to the Phillies front office again for,
I love it.
There's really not going to be many guys next year that are free agents. I've seen the list. Strahm was one of the few remaining ones. There's really you thought this offseason was boring.
I know.
Wait till next offseason. It's going to be crickets.
It'll be exciting after a nice, strong postseason. We'll have a great
offseason. Hopefully after the World Series parade.
Manifest that. Oh, yeah. But yeah, Strahm returns after last year with the 9.5 record, 3.29 ERA. He also posted a 30.8% strikeout rate, the highest since 2016. 5.42 strikeout to walk ratio. Love this. Lock him in, lock up and loaded. We will get into talking about the bullpen.
He's a big card head. Maybe he goes to Wheelhouse Cards.
Oh, I could totally see that.
And it's pretty cool. I always like when the players kind of like get into cards and like sign stuff for, sign memorabilia for one another. And they're always doing like swaps and card swaps. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love in the chat you guys are talking about Darth Poyer saying, Dave wants guys to want Philly. That's a great point. Chris, you're mentioning we need players like him to bridge the gap in a high pressure situation. Yeah, these are those minor pieces like that are so important around when they talk about around the edges. These are the types of players that are the role players that you can depend on. You know what they're going to give. They can give you that consistency. They can give you that stability. And you don't have to worry about, what they're going to bring to the table. So it's exciting to see that these small moves that were made this past weekend should go a long way, especially Matt Strahm. And Tyler, I know you've got some nuggets on Strahm.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty...
Tyler's a Strahm guy. I think it's because you guys have similar body types and you're both lefties, right?
Notwithstanding, but
I think he sees it. I think if Tyler saw himself as a major league bullpen arm, it would be like Matt Strahm.
Listen, is that fair? Listen, if I threw 93 and had a wipeout slider, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be Matt Strahm.
I think you see yourself in Matt Strahm.
But I will say this: I am a big Matt Strahm fan because I appreciate the fact that I trust Matt Strahm in high leverage situations, and you guys know how big of a high leverage like high leverage versus like set up closer type of guy that I am. It's really about, you know, getting the important outs when you need it. And he's a high leverage lefty. And I think it really comes down to one thing, guys. Last year was the first year that he really heavily featured his slider. And up until last year, he had only thrown it a handful of times in games. And last year he threw it 334 times. It had a 33% whiff rate, a 33% K rate. It had a 9-run value, and opponents hit 151 against it. I think that obviously guys are going to adjust to it now that they've had a full season to see it.
$7.5 million is a very good deal for those type of numbers.
I think it's a really good deal to get a high leverage and a lefty that you can throw in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. It's somebody that you can trust. You saw it in the in Game 4, the closeout situation against the Braves in the NLDS. They had already used Alvarado. They had already used Hoffman. Who do you bring in to shut the door? It's Matt Strahm, because you know that slider is going to play, especially against left-handed hitters when it's running away from them. To use that pitch 25% of the time and to have the success rate that he does, he is somebody that you can trust in high leverage situations against both sides of the plate, because you can throw that slider back foot against righties and have a lot of success with it, and you can throw it trailing away to lefties and have a lot of success with it. So I think, obviously, you know, again, a year's worth of tape and of value to see what the slider is, but you want to call it a slider, you want to call it a sweeper, whatever terminology you want to deem it, it's probably become his best pitch at this point.
And I know in the chat, Hypothetical Man saying he is a Swiss Army knife and a good guy to keep in the pen. And as you're mentioning, Tyler, he's adding more to his arsenal, continuing to progress, continuing to get better. And now it'll be great to see what he's like with a full season with the Phillies, having had a full spring training and a full off season of really like lock into being in Philly and what that means to him and what his future looks like.